Hello everybody, Antoine here for Simarchitecture and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to build one of the most iconic French castles, which is of course the Château de Chenonceau, which is probably, with Versailles and Chambord, the most famous, most iconic castles that there is in France. I'm sure you've already saw pictures of this castle because this is an absolutely masterpiece of architecture and it has something really special. It is indeed built on the river. Like, this is half a castle, half a bridge, and this is what makes this place so special. There's no castle like this in France or even in the world, I think. There's some castles in the water like in India, but it's nothing compared to this. It's not at all the same style. This is not the same idea. Because the palaces on the water in India are actually put on the water, but they're not across a river just like this one. So to build this castle, I used a 64 by 64 in Windenburg. It was the lot where I built all my big palaces. And of course I used Alexander's custom content because I think I could have done it without custom content, but it would have looked different. I wouldn't have so many beautiful architectural items, and I think it looks more realistic with Alexander custom content. Of course, Alexander custom content was not meant to build this palace in particular, so I had to use some objects from his custom content and adapt them to Chenonceau. So once more, just like with the video of me building Versailles, this is not an accurate version. It is as accurate as I can, but it's not 100% accurate because it's impossible to build it just the way it looks in real life, because, you know, with The Sims 4 you have some limits that you can't just change. So I really tried to do it as accurate as possible, but it was not really possible sometimes. So I kept the shape of the building. The idea is still there. It's still a pass across the river. For example, there are more arches in my version as the real castle, but I think it's not really a problem. I'm not an historian. I'm not here to recreate exactly the past or the castle as it is now, so just wanted to make a simple version. So this castle was built in the 16th century, if I remember well, during the French Renaissance, or maybe a bit earlier, I don't remember exactly. You know, I like such architecture, but I'm not really a specialist. I'm more into 18th and 19th century architecture, so excuse me if I don't know all the stories just like Versailles, because I know much more about Versailles than about any other castle. But yeah, as I said, this is one of the most iconic French castles, just like Versailles or Chambord. I think those are the three most famous castles, I would say. And there are a lot of visitors there. It's on the, there is the Loire, so-called Loire Valley de la Loire. It's better in French, I think. So the Loire Valley, as you call it in English. This is like a valley along the Loire River, and there are all the most famous French castles and palaces that have been built from the Middle Age to the 19th century, so maybe not the 19th and 18th, I would say, or some were transformed during the 19th century. But yeah, they're all here, like Chambord, Chenonceau that we're building right now, Azel Rideau, Ussé. All those beautiful castles are located in this area. I never visited them myself, because, you know, every time I have an occasion to visit a palace, I go to Versailles. I'm a bit psycho about Versailles, I think, and sometimes I should go somewhere else, but, you know. So, yeah, it's really on my list of places to visit because it's really incredible, and I'm so happy to live in France and to have such an heritage. You know, in France there are castles everywhere, like maybe as there are as much castles in France as in Germany or England, and this is just crazy to think that there's so much history everywhere. In every city or town almost there's a castle or remainings of an old castle. So silly, you know, I'm not really into saying, well, I'm so proud to be French or anything, because I'm not into nationalism or patriotism. But anyway, I think I'm just happy to be French because we have strong and old history. We have some beautiful old buildings. And for example, someone told me in the comments, an Australian told me that is into also old architecture. It's hard to find such architecture in Australia, and I believe it. And you know, this is probably something that would bother me about going to live in a new world country, if I can say so, like America, Australia, New Zealand. Even if they're fantastic countries, they're absolutely beautiful, but they don't have this old historical background that we have here in Europe. And this is something really important to me because I'm really into history. And you know, I know there is history also in the US or in Australia or anywhere else, but it's not as old as in Europe. Because if you think of it, the US and Australia are really young nations, really young countries. And yeah, so I really understand why all the tourists are really amazed by French architecture or French castles, because those are things that they've probably never saw before coming to France or to Europe at least. So yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about, but anyway, yeah, I wanted to tell you that I was really happy to build this, but the next build is not going to be an historical build. I think it's going to be a quite normal house, probably a big mansion, but something contemporary. Because I really enjoy building historical building or castles, but I don't want to be the guy that only build this. My name is Simarchitecture, it's not Sim Castles or anything, so yeah, I think I have to be free to build the style that I want, and I think it's good for everyone because I think there are people of my channel that are not really into historical architecture and who prefer when I build a beautiful American mansion or something. So yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna build some contemporary buildings. But for the moment, I really hope you enjoy this building. I didn't finish it except the Great Gallery, which is quite similar to the real one, so it's more about the exterior. So I really hope you enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.